Hi friends, this is Linda from Linda Loves Creating, and I'm super excited to be with you guys today to share with you my process start to finish for working with a story kit. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, you guys, I have been a story kit subscriber since the very beginning. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, these are the story kits from Ali Edwards. And you get a package every month of a story kit, and there's also a stamp, which I don't have in this package right here. But this is one of the story kits. This is actually the 100th story kit, which came out in March of 2023, and it's the theme of make. And I'm going to be using this one today for you guys here because I've done all the more recent ones. And this was one that I just skipped because I was super busy at this point in time. If you don't know, I'm a contributor to the Ali Edwards Story Kit Classrooms, which is part of your subscription. If you purchase these kits, you get that class included. And I share over there every month my plan for working with the story kits. So in this video, I'm going to kind of share with you what I would normally do in that classroom with the Make Story Kit. And I will also share a little bit more behind the scenes about how I go through my process of working with a story kit. So the very first thing I do when I get my kit is take it out of the package, look through everything, and just kind of get a feel for what's here. So I'm going to do that with you guys here. And if you don't have this kit to work with, totally fine. You don't need to work with this kit with me. I'm just giving this as an example of how I look at a specific kit. But if you do have this kit, you might get some ideas from this video for using it. So these kits come with 3 6x8 papers. These are actually not 6x8. They're larger than 6x8 to work outside the page protector. This year I am keeping mini-me albums. And here's my 2024 one. I've been doing these since 2022, I think was the first one. And I have 2 parts per year. And this has just a lot of my stories in it that are using story kits or other products. So one of the things I will think about when planning out my projects is what ones do I want to put in that album. I also do Project Life, so I will often think of a way to use this in Project Life or other pocket page projects. I'm doing projects for my daughter's childhood, so I will maybe think of stories for that and come up with usually about 10 projects I want to do. So back to the kit itself, there's these 6x8 papers. Some of these are great prompts to be put into a 6x8 album, so I will often use them like that. This one has 2 of these, and then one that's just a nice patterned paper. So those will probably be some of my stories. There's 2 3x8 cards. This one is a nice quote. Again, these are the outside the page protector size, so they're larger than 3x8, and some cute stripes. Then we've got some 6x8 cards. There's also 3x4 cards, some word phrase stickers, some chipboard pieces, super cute. There's always a plastic word, and then some additional embellishments. So this kit looks like it has these vellum hearts. It's got these rubber circles and this really cute fabric. I guess stitched fabric embellishment says make it count. So after I've looked at everything in the kit, I'm going to set up my tray. That is where I'm going to keep my kit. And I'm going to show you guys that on my shelf in a minute. But basically I have this tray here and I typed this out, and I'm just going to get some clear tape. And I just use clear Scotch tape and I put that over this, which was typed out on here. And that's just going to temporarily live on this tray while I'm working with this kit. Once I'm done with this kit, I will take that off and have this tray for another kit. Okay, I'm quickly bringing you over here to my shelf on my desk. This is on the side of my desk. And I have these dividers. This is all from IKEA. And these trays are from Amazon. I have everything linked for these in my Amazon storefront, and I will link it down in the description box for this video if you want these trays. They do fluctuate a lot in price on on Amazon. So I would recommend, I think about $15 to $20 per tray is a good price. Sometimes they go higher than that, so I would wait until you can find them. I love these trays. I'm gonna pull out the Make one, which I just planned here. And I have everything I need to create my projects using the Make Story Kit here. You can also see I have the Birthday Story Kit, Around Here Story Kit, and Enjoy Story Kit out and ready to work with. I have Savor and Start kind of merged into one because I only have a few projects left for each of those. And then over here, I have my May stories by the month because I have not yet worked with that. I have the Let Go Story Kit, which is an older one that I'm working through crushing. So I pulled that one out. I do have down here, this is the Love Story mini kit for Story Play. I was working with that one, so I planned that one out. And then right here, I have the Stories by the Month kit for story pages. These are just like the overflow after I've done my Project Life spread, but I will share more about that in a different video. Let's go back to my desk and finish planning out the Make Story Kit.
Okay, so back at my desk, I'm going to start on my process for planning out my projects using the Make Story Kit. So for every story kit, I create a 2-page spread in my craft planner. My craft planner is a Hobonichi Day Free A5 size, and I will link that down in the description box below. These do have dated calendars in them, and I use the calendar portion for my content calendar, so what I'm posting on Instagram and YouTube. But if you are not a content creator, I think that this would still be a great craft planner because you could use the calendar view for what projects you want to focus on at any particular time. In setting up my 2-page spread here, I'm going to create my title where I put the name of the story kit, the month it came out, and the number of the story kit. And then I leave a spot for story thoughts, which is from Allie's main lesson in the Story Kit classroom. If you're not familiar with the Story Kit classrooms, they come with a lesson where Allie talks through her ideas for using the Story Kit, as well as shares some process videos. And there's also videos from other contributors. Then I list out my initial story ideas. Now, if you are a Story Kit subscriber, I would recommend watching the classroom content to come up with some ideas because there are a ton of ideas in there, not just from me, but from the other contributors. But when I create my Story Kit plans, I have not yet seen the content from the other contributors. So I'm just coming at it from my initial thoughts from looking at the kit. And if that is something that interests you, you might want to consider doing that as well prior to watching other people's content and getting other ideas. For the Make Story Kit, I feel like this theme is very kind of obvious. It's, things that I like to make and crafts and that type of thing. So I wrote out crafts projects and then other kind of ideas or phrases using the word make. So make it count, make it work, making space, make it happen. Made with love, make good choices, and make a mess. Some of those were prompted by specific products in the kit, and other ones were just ideas that came to mind when thinking about the theme of make. Now I'm going to go ahead and dive into my planning.
Okay, so this portion of the video is very similar to what I share in the Story Kit classroom. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sketch out the projects I want to do. And I'm going to use Ziploc bags. I just have like a whole stash of them, of these large Ziploc bags. And I'm gonna put the products into a Ziploc bag that go with each corresponding story plan. And I'm gonna just stick them into this tray. So you'll be able to see that at the end. And I'm just gonna talk you through all of my projects as I go. So for my first project, I decided to do Project Life. And I don't always plan that one first. Sometimes I plan it first, sometimes I plan it last, sometimes in the middle. It just really depends on what I'm feeling in terms of the kit. I feel like this kit works pretty well for Project Life, but it is a more specific kit, and Project Life is just everyday life details. So it's not necessarily going to, not all of these cards are going to work well in Project Life, especially when I'm doing a week in the future. So I didn't put dates on here because I don't have a week in mind. I'm going to use this kit in a future week in Project Life, and when I get to it, I will get to it. I will make note of the fact that I have this planned with the intention of using this in Project Life, and I will probably pick a week that has a lot of things making. So I chose this Made My Day card as a filler, making time for, because I think that's an easy one to make notes of something that happened during a week for Project Life. Currently making, because I'm always making something where I can tell some story about what I'm working on. Seriously, you can't make this stuff up. I think that will be a good one to include, but also what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these in this Ziploc to work with. And some of these word things like are longer, like making things happen. This is my creative space. I can cover this, seriously, you can't make this stuff up, with one of these, or even a strip of washi if it doesn't work for the story, and tell a different story. I also planned here to make a journaling card because there wasn't one that was just general enough to hold everyday life stories, and I know I always need one of those. And then I have this quote card as my title. I decided to pull 3 of these chipboard tags to put in here on some of my photos. And then I pulled 5 of these that I will layer with the word phrase strips on some of my photos or on my journaling card. So I do have some flexibility when I'm putting this together. You know, I might use this one at the top of this journaling card, but I do have some options, but I have enough of a sketch here to get an idea of what I was thinking. And I will put all of this into a Ziploc and put that in my stash here to work with later. And then I'm gonna go ahead and plan my next project. Okay, so this next one is super simple. I'm just basically using this page, and I'm gonna put this in my mini-me album. I made a note, it's probably gonna be in part 2 of 2024, which is gonna be the second half of the year. So I'm planning this in May, but that album will probably start in July. I do have a lot of other projects planned and a lot of busy stuff happening. So I'm planning on this one being later in the year. So I didn't put some dates. It's just gonna be a few of my current projects at the time that I'm doing it. So I'm just gonna put 4 photos on here of things I'm currently making, and that might be it. I might add a few words, I'm not sure yet, but it's just gonna be a very simple single page. I don't need a Ziploc bag for it because this is the only thing I'm using, but I'm just gonna go ahead and stick it over there so I remember that I've already planned something with it, and I will move on to the next one. Okay, this next one is another story for my mini-me album. Again, I'm doing part 2 because I feel like I'm not gonna work with this kit right away. And by the time I'm going to get to working on these, I'm gonna be in July or closer to July. So I'm gonna be ready to work on that, but maybe not, and I'll adjust. And I will share more about what that means at the end of this video. So this one is going to be a divided page protector on this side, which is the 2 3x4 pockets and a 4x6. And this side is going to be outside the page protector. So this story is going to be prompted by this Maker's Gonna Make and the fact that I love making things. So I'm going to just document some of the things that I like to make. So I'll probably do journaling, scrapbooking, painting, whatever it is that I'm working on at that current point in time. I wanted to include a photo of my craft room here. And then here I wanted to do like a filler card. So I was originally thinking of using this paper and cropping it down, but I really loved this chipboard piece and I don't love those colors together. So instead of pulling one of these cards or just making my own with the papers in the kit or plain white paper, I decided what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stitch some of these hearts onto a 3x4 piece of vellum or transparency and have it be a transparent element that goes through on the back. Now I'm gonna have to keep that in mind when planning another page for the back, but that's a project for another day. So unless I come up with one right now, but for now, this is going to be my story here, and I'm gonna go ahead and stick this in a bag and move on to the next one. Okay, so my next project is again going to be just a 6x8 one side. And this one is going to be my 2024 Mini Me Part 1 because the story has a specific time. So this story is about my boyfriend moving in and about making space for something new because that's what this chipboard kind of prompted this story. And I'm going to focus specifically on making space in my bathroom, which I have had to myself now for a long time. And even though it is a master bathroom that has, 2 sinks and a lot of space, I've really taken over the entire thing. So I rearranged everything and we brought in some new storage and stuff to make it work for 2 people. So I'm going to do I'm going to do like a layout on top of here, which is going to be what you see here in my sketch. This is my title. I'm going to have a typed vertical journaling block that's on white. And then on this side, I'm going to have 3 rectangles. The top one and the bottom one will be photos. The middle one will probably be some pattern paper from my stash or a vellum or something like that. And I will just put this rubber piece on top of it just to add a little bit more embellishment. So this, actually, I think I like this sentiment, but I like this color with it better. So I think I'm going to go with this one because I think these colors work better in my bathroom. The cabinets are this color, so this is gonna look better with this one. So I'm switching it out for this one, and I'm gonna go ahead and put this in as a block and move on to the next one. Okay, so the next one is again for my Mini Me album, and sometimes I do plan a lot for that. Sometimes I plan more larger projects. It really just depends on what I'm prompted, or what stories I'm prompted to tell with the kit. So because I make a lot and I'm a huge crafter, this kit has been super prompting stories about me and about making in my Mini Me album. So that's why you're seeing a lot of 6x8 ones. But so this next one, I was prompted by this. So this has this made for this card. And this could be many different things. But I'm thinking, what are 2 things that go together that I was made for? And I decided to do my 2 kind of like job titles, although one's not really a job. So I'm a crafter, which is more of a hobby. And then I'm a lawyer, which is my job. And I feel like I was made for both of these jobs. So what I'm gonna do is do a full page 6x8 photo, one on each side, one of me being a lawyer, one of me being a crafter. And I'm going to crop out these, cut them around as the rounded rectangles they are, and journal about being a lawyer and journal about being a crafter. And then I'm going to pair these chipboard pieces with each one to kind of just balance the spread. So I think that that is going to be pretty simple, but I like that story. And so I'm going to go ahead and put this in a Ziploc and move on to the next one. Okay, so this next one was really prompted by this card. And when I saw this card, I initially think of my daughter. So she is just turned 19, and this is something that I'm kind of encouraging her to do all of the time, is make good choices. So she's old enough that she's making her own choices, and all I can do is kind of encourage her to make good choices. So what I'm gonna do is create a page that's sort of a letter to her, or like a bullet list or numbered list of like advice for her at age 19. She's going to be moving out on her own into a more permanent situation. She already lived in a dorm before, but she's going to be in like an apartment. So I want to kind of give her advice on this next stage of her life through this layout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this paper as a pattern paper. So this is going to be a 9x12. Now this is not 9 inches across, but when I add this card, I can make it 9 inches, and I'm not entirely sure where this is going to fall to make that, but I will do that. And then I will crop this so that it's the same size all the way across. And then basically I'm going to have this grid here. There's going to be a vertical column of journaling, and then this section is going to be a photo of her. At the intersection, I'm going to put this making it work rubber piece. And then on the photo of her, I'm going to put a little strip that says you only get one life, and then put this make it count on there, which I think is kind of a good sentiment to go along with this. So I think that one's gonna be super cute, and one that I'll probably do, one of the first ones I'll do because she just turned 19. So it'll be a good kind of in the moment project to do. Okay, so this next one is kind of a silly layout, but I was thinking of this make and kind of what do I make, and I thought about making the bed. This is something I don't do every day, but I would like to, and it definitely just kind of makes such a difference when you make the bed. It makes the room feel so fresh and clean. And so what I'm going to do is take a photo of my bedroom, and I'm gonna put this make the bed, and then I'm gonna stamp the bed or use stickers underneath it to finish my title. And then at this top here, I will have some white cardstock so that this has like not as much contrast, but it will be on top of that, overlapping the photo. And I'm just gonna do a little bit of journaling about making the bed, opening the windows, and how it makes such a big difference in the bedroom. And then I'm gonna take this card and I'm gonna crop these into strips and make a border on my page like this. And then I will use this tag as an embellishment along the edge of that. So this card is 6 inches this way, this page is 12. So I could just fit 2 of them, but what I'll do is I'll stagger it. So one of them is kind of like going off and coming on the other side. So I think that I will end up using parts of all 3 of them. And so that's kind of a simple one, but I like the idea. I think it's a fun little story, and it's a way to document what my bedroom looks like right now. So this next one is going to be, again, in my mini me album. Again, I'm pushing it off to the second one so I give myself more time to work on it, because this is a story that can be told at any time. And basically what I'm doing is, this quote says, some people want it to happen, some wish it would happen, others make it happen. And I think I'm going to use this quote to tell the story of kind of how I got from my teenage years to where I am in my career and in my life, and a lot of the choices that I made. So I'm gonna flip this over. So this is gonna be like in the album like this with a tab. You'll flip it over, and then you have this 3x8 and a 6x8. And I'm just gonna do like a little timeline, and I will use the last 3 of these hearts to identify like 3 of the things on the timeline. And then I'm just gonna like do like a little stitching to connect these different stories. And I'll just have like different little like circles or labels that have like dates or different things that happened. And then I'm gonna put this one at the bottom that says made with hard work, like at where I am now, probably with like the last heart. And these will just maybe be like the start, the end, and like one in the middle. Now, if I was planning this one first, I could have used all of the hearts for this, but I like that I have them in so many different layouts. They are just a super, super fun embellishment, but I'm excited to have them as pops throughout this spread. Okay, so this one is going to document a project that I'm making. I don't know what project. It's not something I've made yet, but I wanted to do this one because this card really prompted me to tell the story of something I'm making. And I make things all the time. So I'm thinking that I will use this one with it on top of a photo of whatever I'm making, and then I will use this one on the back of this here. And I made a note to make this the back of that, so that, because that's a transparent element, so it won't get kind of lost in my album. And then I'll just have this to do the journaling. So it's a super quick and easy one here. Okay, so I've planned out 9 projects. So I'm gonna call that good. I have a few pieces left here. I have 3 cards and an embellishment. I'm just gonna go ahead and stick these in here with the rest of these and slip this into my shelf. And that will end kind of this segment or this part of the planning with the kit. The next step will be to go to my computer and start printing out things to work on. But before I do that, what I'm gonna do is show you how I work these into where I'm going to make them. So I'm gonna work with the mini me's first. And I have all these tabs in here. So we have 2024 mini me part 2. And I have a lot of these were planned here. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna write them in, making stuff. And that is make project 2. And it is a single page, so I have nothing on the left, and on the right, it's a 6x8 outside the page protector. Then I'm gonna move on to this one, Maker's Gonna Make. This is make number 3. It has 3 pockets on this side and a 6x8 out on this side. Then here, that's not in this one, so I'm gonna skip to this one, 2024 mini part 2, made for this. That is make number 5, and it's a 6x8 out and a 6x8 out. And I've got 2 more here. So I've got this one, My Journey. Make number 8. This is a 3x8 both sides and a 6x8 out. And then next we have a project, make number 9. And this one is 3 pockets only. And we're gonna say this on back of make 3. And I'm gonna make a note here, make 9 next. Okay, so those ones go back to back. And then we're gonna go back to my plan here. Now I need this one that goes in 2024, mini-me part 1. So I'm gonna go to that tab. And you can see I have way more planned here. So this is moving in bathroom. And this is make number 4. And this is a single page 6x8 outside the page protector. And then the last one is my project life, which I will show you here. So I have project life 2024 part 1 planned out here. That's why I didn't plan a week, because these are all already planned with a kit. And then I have 2024 project life part 2 right here, which does not yet have anything planned. And I could have assigned it a specific week like in July, but I'm not gonna do that because it's not yet July and I don't know what's gonna happen, and this is a more specific. So what I'm gonna do instead is start a sticky note right here that says kits to use. Make story kit. Project number 1. So I know that that has been planned out, and I can come over and find it when I'm ready to select a kit to do these specific weeks. Back to this one, because I feel like this one shows the best example. I can kind of explain how this works. So this is my 2024 mini-me part 1, which is this right here. And these are the projects that are already placed in here. So I have my cover page right here, my 2024 goals, which is planned right there, my daily journaling layout right here, a projects list, that's right here. And you can see that's using the Let Go story kit. Those were all using Start. Next, I have pickleball, which is using the Yes No story kit. And then I have 5 things about now using the present story kit. And that is all that I have from at that point. Then I have a few other ones here that I've made. So this is using a Cocoa Daisy kit, and it's just standing alone because it's not yet attached. And this is another Cocoa Daisy kit, standing alone in page protectors. So on this side, I have things highlighted when they are in the album. I have them checked off once I've created them. So you can see these 2 right here are created, but they're not yet placed in the album, in that I don't know the order. They need something else between them. So if I have, for example, I want to connect these 2 pages together, I'm going to look for one that has this layout of the pockets on this side and a 6x8 outside the page protector on this side, and make that spread right here. Now I don't see one on here, so I know that as I'm getting closer to the end of this, I'm going to have to come up with a spread that meets this criteria. But as I start making things, I will start adhering them together and placing them in the album, kind of like a puzzle. And then this, once I fill in this entire thing here, I'm gonna be done with planning projects for this album, because I won't be able to fit any more in here. And if I end up having to go to 3 for the year, I will, but I don't think that is gonna be the case because it's May and I'm just now getting to the end of part 1. I think I will be able to make it work. I also still have like, I guess I don't have a tab on it, but I have like 2023 mini-me part 2 is still in progress. So I have a list like this for that as well. So that is kind of how I go about planning these projects. Then the next step will be to make them. And I will do that by coming to this list or whatever list when I'm feeling like crafting, and I will pick a few of the projects on this list that I want to work on, and I will bulk process them. So I will go to my computer and do all of the photo editing and printing. Then I will put those photos in the Ziploc bags with the supplies. And when I'm ready to sit down at my craft desk, I will have everything I need to create that project inside the Ziploc bag, and I will just simply put it together. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope that this video answered a lot of your questions about how I plan my story kits and gave you a lot of insight into how I do that and what I share over in the Story Kit Classroom every single month. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And as I do finish these projects, I will share them over on my Instagram. So make sure you're following me there if you want to see them. I am Linda Loves Creating on Instagram, just like I am on YouTube. And I hope to see you guys all in the next video. Thanks. Bye.